has served in Gillespie County has served in Gillespie County for over a quarter of a century in law enforcement. For over 21 years of that as a constable of Precinct 1. Mark is a true volunteer. He's been with 2 different volunteer fire departments and has served as a member of the Army National Guard and is presently serving as a member of the United States Air Force Reserve. Good evening, Mark, and we'll entertain your opening comment.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I am Constable Mark Tree, and I've been Constable Precinct 1 since 1991 when the Gillespie County Commissioners Court went ahead and had a vacancy and went ahead and looked over qualifications, and I was appointed to that position. Prior to that, I was employed by the Gillespie County Sheriff's Department where I handled the majority of the civil process within that department. I was with the Sheriff's Department for a little over 5 years where I worked my way from, worked my way from a jailer to patrol deputy. I'm 51 years old and married to Pauline Klein Tree. We have 2 children, Julie and Josh. Polly is the City of Fredericksburg EMS Fire Dispatch Supervisor, and that's where she is right now. Her parents were the late Milton and Myrtle Klein of the Tybydale area. My parents are Ed and Jimmy Tree, both who reside in Fredericksburg. My mother grew up in the Willis City area, where her parents had the post office and general store. I hold a Master Peace Officer's license, which is the highest grade of license issued by the Texas Commission on Law Enforcement Standards and Education. I have taught civil liability classes at the ACOG Police Academy. I hold many certifications. If I were to mention every one, my time here would expire. I do have a binder out in the hall. Please feel free to look at that. I've been involved in many organizations during my time as a constable. I'm the past president of the Hill Country Peace Officers Association. I'm the past president of the Police Activities League when it was active in Fredericksburg. I've held office for the Alamo Area Crime Prevention Association. I've spent many hours working with our seniors when the SALT Council was active in Fredericksburg. I spent many hours working with our youth when the Fredericksburg Police Summer Youth Program was active. I've outlasted a lot of programs in Gillespie County. I'm a member of the Fredericksburg Volunteer Fire, where I held the office of Treasurer, President, and Lieutenant. Before that, I was in Willis City Volunteer Fire Department for about 9 years. I'm a member of the Fredericksburg Bible Church. I'm a member of the Fredericksburg Masonic Lodge. I'm the president of the Masonic High 12 Club, and I'm a member of the United States Air Force. In the time that I've been serving law enforcement, I've always made myself available to anyone in any precinct. I've never had a telephone number private or never intended. I try to return calls as soon as I possibly can. I've always tried to treat people as I would want to be treated, but sometimes the situation doesn't dictate that. I perform many duties and tasks as constable, providing security to the JP Court while in session, serving process for all the courts in Gillespie County and at times other counties in other states and the nation. I've handled truancy summons, evictions, traffic, misdemeanor, and felony arrest, and have been known to change tires several times. I have all powers that any other Texas peace officer has. I have the experience and dedication to continue serving Gillespie County as your constable. Please vote for the real deal, Mark Tree, Constable Precinct 1. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Next, I would like to introduce Heath Sosko, who will handle his own introduction. Heath.
Hello, I would like to thank everybody for coming and giving me this opportunity to speak. My name is Heath Sosko, and I am running for Gillespie County Constable Precinct 1, which covers Commissioner Precinct 1 and 3 and voter precincts 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, and 12. I'm proud to be born and raised in Gillespie County, Texas. My father is Seaman Sosko, and my mother is Donnie Coleman. My grandparents are Clayton and Orain Knopp, and the late Stephen Sosko Sr. and Ingrid Sosko. After graduating from Fredericksburg High School in 1992, I went to work in the electrical distribution field, and in 2004, started my own taxidermy business. I also currently work part-time for Touch Well Service, and when elected, will be ready to take on all the duties and responsibilities of Gillespie County Constable. I'm a devoted father of 2 wonderful boys. Brady is 11 and Brandon is 9, and I believe in the strong family values and work ethics. In 2010, I graduated from the ACOG Police Academy and received my certification as Texas Peace Officer. Some of my certifications include active shooter, weapons mastery, bloodborne and airborne pathogens, introduction to National Incident Management and Incident Command Systems, National Academy of Professional Driving, OC spray, Taser M26 and X26, radar operator, NCI, CDC for less full access, SFST, etc. With the thorough training and certifications received, I am qualified to fulfill my duties as constable. Community involvement is important to me, especially with the youth. I've been an assistant baseball coach for the last 6 years. I believe that any positive form of involvement from law enforcement is very important for our youth. As your constable, I will be honored to fulfill my duties with the utmost courtesy and professionalism. With my extensive knowledge and appreciation of the area, I will protect and serve all residents of Gillespie County. Thank you and God bless.
I'll remind you, if you have any questions, please feel free to use the card to submit those in writing, and we have some of our board members and staff in the room who will be happy to take those. Our opening question tonight is, what is the greatest challenge you see facing Gillespie County law enforcement today, and what is your vision for meeting that challenge? And Mark, we'll begin with you.
Like one of the things that is an issue right now in law enforcement, I'm going to put that on the sheriff's jail. That is a big issue in the county right now, and to get this in place is a big issue that I think it's coming. We're going to have to get it done sooner or later. Hopefully sooner before later, and then we're in a mess.
I guess I'd say the most important thing to me is working and being involved with the youth. I think they're our future. We have to help them grow up. They need some positive forms of involvement, especially from law enforcement. I think that'll help them go the right direction. You know, that's what I plan on doing with my boys. I want to make sure that keep an eye on all the kids. That's why I'm active in baseball and football and stuff like that. Get to know the kids and try to help them come out and be active and be seen, and let them know that law enforcement is a good thing. I know that we have some officers doing that, but I think we'd use some more. I think that's important, most important for our futures, our youth.
Thank you very much. Our second question is, we all know that law enforcement is a network of professionals, not merely county. What is your vision for coordinating with other law enforcement agencies on all levels? And Heath, we'll start with you this time, please.
Well, I think you have to be active with your sheriff and police department. You've got to speak with each other and help each other out. Of course, I don't know the best way to, I mean, you just have to work together, and I don't know, I mean, that's what I feel. You have to work with each other.
Being a one-man park for so many years, I've had 3 sheriffs I've gone to and asked for help. I've had 2 police chiefs, 3 police chiefs I've gone and asked for help, and we've always had a good working relationship. I think I have a good working relationship with the county judge and the county commissioners. City council, I've worked with city council, the fire department things before, and also I have networking the police chief in Banks, Texas. I went to high school with him, and he's always calling me, giving me our time. And I have this, after 25 years, I have folks all over the place I can always ask for help. And the Constable Association of Texas, I do run into a legal matter that I can't quite figure out. I have access to them.
Mark, this question will start with you. What is the greatest strength you bring to the table if elected?
Okay, there it is. I have numerous hours in civil process training. As far as the office of constable, you spend more time doing evictions, writs, things that are not normally associated with black and white law. It's like a gray area, and after 20 some odd years of dealing with that, I believe I have, and I'm learning every day. Even today, things come up I have no idea, and I'm having to look for answers. And the other constable, Warren offers, and I will sit down and try to figure these things out all the time. But a lot of things I've learned, like the evictions, that's a really, I think, the strongest asset that I have.
I believe my strongest asset is just being raised here. I really believe in this community. I love this community. It's been here for me. It's always been here for me, and I always want to be here for it. And I don't plan on going anywhere. I'm staying here. There's nothing I can't learn. Anything I put my mind to, I can and will accomplish. I believe that's my strongest assets.
Gentlemen, bearing any questions, go ahead and take a short break while we ask our candidates for the county attorney's race to come take their place.
So next coming up, we have the county attorneys. They'll each get 10 minutes each, and followed by the commissioners. That's a 45-minute haul. We're a pretty big house right now, so they pulled a pretty good job. Good job to the Chamber of Commerce. A good standing only event. Come on around. Pretty excited. So you're listening to FG Live Beta live stream. I know it's kind of a little tacky, but hey, it's what we got, folks. We're getting better all the time. She'll start talking soon, so I'll start talking.
We'll go ahead and get started with our county attorney race. Again, I will introduce each of the candidates to you and allow them to make their opening statements, and then we'll open up for questions. They're sending some additional cards around the room, so please don't hesitate to raise your hand if you need one and send a question forward. First, I'd like to introduce to you Chris Nevins. He's a graduate of the University of Texas and St. Mary's School of Law. He's married to Karen, who is a kindergarten teacher in FISD. They have 3 children, Brooke, Claire, and Reed, ages 13, 10, and 6. He has practiced law for 16 years, the last 10 years building a busy practice in Fredericksburg. He is also a professor of business law at Concordia University. He's a certified firefighter and president of the Stonewall Volunteer Fire Department. He teaches high school, Sunday school at Holy Ghost, where he and his family are very active. Good evening, Chris.
Thank you very much. I don't know, I guess being a reporter, I'm more used to standing. Can everybody hear me? Okay, that usually is not a problem. I'd like to thank the Chamber for inviting us to speak tonight at the forum. Good evening, my name is Chris Nevins. Karen and I feel very blessed to be citizens and residents of Gillespie County. We live in Stonewall, Texas. I've practiced law here in the last 10 years with my dad and some other fine attorneys. It's wonderful to be able to practice law in the town that my mom grew up in. One of the things that in the practicing of the law and doing my work in the courtroom is that I feel called to bring those skills that I've achieved to the county. To work with the county and represent the county in the numerous ways the county attorney does. A lot of people, in fact, this happened earlier, people say, are you running for county judge? No, I'm running for county attorney. Well, what do they do? Well, they represent the county in all civil matters, contracts, land disputes, employment issues, negotiations. And I feel that's a strength of mine. The other thing the county attorney does is that the county attorney prosecutes all misdemeanor cases and juvenile felony and misdemeanor cases. And I think one of the exciting things that I feel called to do is that of a prosecutor. The prosecutor's job is to seek justice. And in doing so, you work hard to achieve not necessarily convictions, but a good result. And for example, is like our youth. I want to be able to get out there and be proactive with the youth, not just to hit them on the backside of conviction, but work with the police department, the sheriff's department, the chamber, churches, schools, in order to reach those kids before it becomes a problem. On the back end, you want to be able to send a message, but you want to make sure that you don't brand them and you're able to get them off to college, military, what have you. I also think it's so important that the county attorney works with the county commissioners, the judge, the sheriff, the city, in negotiations and working together. I'm not always going to agree with everything that they say, but I think it's how you disagree is also very important. Leadership's important. I'm president of the fire department, the Hill Country Dispute Resolution Center. I've been VP of the Chamber, Stonewall, and the Gillespie County Health Board. I believe that I can bring the wisdom and the aggressiveness to the county attorney's office and work well, and I humbly ask for your vote. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Stephen Harpold. He was born and raised in Houston. He graduated from Texas A&M University in 1987, followed by South Texas College of Law in 1989. Stephen and his wife Jill are married for almost 22 years, and they have 3 children: Blake, 17, Christina is 15, and Susanna is 11. All 3 attended Fredericksburg Heritage School, where Stephen served on the school's board from 2001 through 2004, 2 of those years as chairman. Stephen and family attend the Hill Country Evangelical Free Church, and Stephen currently teaches Sunday chapel at Heritage Place. Stephen and Jill own Sweet Escape Bed and Breakfast, and Stephen is a member of the Fredericksburg Morning Rotary. Finally, Stephen is very excited to be an upcoming graduate of Leadership, Gillespie County 2012. Good evening, Stephen.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. Well, I'm just going to get right into what I'd like to talk about, and that is the job of being the county attorney. The primary purpose of the county attorney is to enforce and prosecute the misdemeanor laws. Now, why that's important is because it's the primary aspect of the job, and that's what I have a background in. For years, I was a prosecuting assistant district attorney in Harris County, Texas, where I prosecuted everything from murders down to traffic tickets. And in fact, the way that office works, they give you the training to work with justice of the peace first, where you go in and you do the tickets and the verbal assault and those kind of things like that. And then you go from there and you work in the county attorney's office, where you prosecute all the DWIs, the Class A assaults, the theft by checks, anything else that's a misdemeanor that comes up on a regular basis. And then from there you graduate to being a felony prosecutor. You try the murders and the sexual assaults and the drug cases, and all those things that result in being sent to the penitentiary. Well, I've had years of experience doing that. I have tried so many DWI assault cases that I can't even remember. And that has been a part of my practice ever since having left the DA's office. So since then, I've maintained my criminal practice on the defense end and take court appointments at the 216th District Court, 198th, and across the state. I feel like that being a prosecutor, one of the most important things that you can bring to the office is discretion. And by that I mean the discretion to really push hard, to give a sound message to that individual. He can't do that in this county. And to also have the discretion to say, you know what, that's really not the kind of case that we should prosecute, therefore I won't accept charges, or you know what, this case has some facts that are problematic, therefore it may be one of those where we need to work something out, where, and manage the docket. I believe I have a huge amount of experience in that, and a great amount of strength in accomplishing that and working with the judge to make sure that the docket moves along and it doesn't get clogged up and the citizens of the county are serviced. Now, the other aspect of the job is to help advise the commissioner and the court with regard to their civil matters. I have represented counties in their civil matters. I just recently represented Kerrville and worked with the Commissioner's Court in Kerrville to resolve some issues that they had. My civil practice has taken me all across the state of Texas in representing individuals and corporations like Allstate's one of my clients. So I have a tremendous amount of experience in civil law and in trying cases to civil juries throughout the state that I believe that I can bring. So the bottom line is that there's no hidden agenda. I just have a lot of experience that I want to bring to play with the court and the judge, the justice of the pieces, and the citizens of this county to just make it a better place. And that's what I feel called to do. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, thank you. Our first question this evening, and Chris, we'll start with you. How do you plan to balance the demands of a private practice with your county duties?
Well, it probably won't be much of a balance. If elected, and fortunate enough to be elected, the responsibilities of the county attorney's office will be my responsibility. That will be the focus of what I do. I will give 100% to that office. If there is time left, and I question whether or not there will be, because I think it's going to be a very demanding job, and to implement some of the things I want to implement, I don't think there'll be much time for a private practice. That being said, I'd love to keep a relationship with my dad in the firm and be able to help him if there is, but I think for the most part that being county attorney would be my focus and my almost my sole responsibility. Thank you.
Well, personally for me, I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity because I have the experience and I know exactly what the job entails. And so I've been blessed with having some large clients that my office deals with, and from the civil things, that it's kind of can be one of those things that won't take up too much of my time, but that I can still keep in existence. So for me, it'll be a wonderful opportunity to get back what I've done and be able to do that effectively. So I view it as an opportunity where as much time it needs to take for me to do the job of county attorney, I'm there, I can do it, I can handle it, and I can do it with no problem. And if my civil practice begins to conflict with that, well then it would take second to the county attorney job. So I believe that I'll be in a fortunate position to be able to have that to supplement my income and to be able to be that much more effective as a county attorney.
Our second question tonight, and Stephen, will start with you this time. What is your position on pretrial intervention?
Well, that's a good question, and I don't mean to correct whoever wrote it, but it's pretrial diversion is the way I've come to know it, and that basically is the concept to where we've always viewed it as it's kind of like a prosecutor's agreement. And so it doesn't necessarily involve the court, and so really it's an agreement that you make with the defendant, and you say, hey, look, as long as you for like a year don't violate the law, and if you report to a probation officer, then there will never be like a final resolution to this case. It won't be that you pled guilty, it won't be that you got put on full probation, and that basically it's an in-house, I call it in-house probation, and that way if the guy or the girl does it for a year and does well, then in essence the prosecutor then just dismisses the case, just like that. My position on that is that it is legal, and it is something that should only be left to the best of defendants. And by that I mean someone who complies completely with all aspects of the law and is in a position to where, because the facts are so unique to their circumstances, it's such a one-time occurrence that the means of justice will never see this person again, and the elements of the offense and the facts of it are not egregious or problematic to where someone was really injured or anything like that. So therefore, that could be something for like a student or somebody who has a lot to risk because of this one once-in-a-lifetime altercation. I think it can be appropriate in that case. Otherwise, I believe that the law with further education, which still allows a person to be on probation if they successfully complete it, to then have the case dismissed, is adequate enough. So I believe it's something that only be used in the rarest of circumstances.
Thank you, Chris.
I tend to agree with Stephen. Deferred pretrial intervention is for good people who made a bad decision. They're most likely not targeted as people to do it again. In those unique cases, it should be very narrowly construed. One of the problems is when you do the pretrial intervention, is that the county attorney's office receives the fines of this. And these fines build up and build up and build up. And the only thing that they can be used for is more pretrial intervention. And so right now we have a pretrial intervention fund upwards near $100,000. And the only thing it can be used for is more pretrial intervention. And so I think that we need to get away from the pretrial intervention. We need to start trying more cases that merit the prosecution and use only pretrial intervention in those very select few circumstances.
Thank you. And Chris, we'll start again with you this time. The question is, will your office vigorously prosecute cases that are appealed to county court from the city of Fredericksburg municipal court. In the past three cases, in the past cases have been plea bargained after guilty verdicts were delivered at the municipal court.
The answer is yes. I spoke with Judge Spizak and Pat McGowan, the city attorney. And what happens is that after a Class C misdemeanor is tried with a jury in the municipal court, defense counsel knows that they can appeal it with a trial de novo, which means you start all over again in the county court. And a lot of times these things, once again, hitting these pre-trial interventions, or they're simply being dismissed and not prosecuted. That's a lot of work, that's a lot of effort from the police department, the investigators, from the city attorney's office and the court to prosecute these things in municipal court, only to see them waste away at the county level. I think it's important to hit those cases again at the county level, to prosecute them, to uphold those previous convictions at the city level, and make sure that people who commit the C misdemeanors or the crimes in the city face the same justice in the county court as they did in the municipal court.
Yes, I love trying cases. It's how I breathe in my job. And to me, it goes to discretion to to answer it in a manner that, you know, every case that is tried in the municipal courts and in the JP courts, they have a right to appeal it up to county court and then show up as it never happened for the first time. So what my pledge would be is that I would look at that case, and if it is righteous and you know, there was a law broken and that person did it and the facts are good, then no doubt, I love trying those cases. And I have tried so many of those cases, and on both the prosecutor and the defense end, so I know exactly what everybody's trying to do with them, okay? And so to me, it's a great opportunity to send a message to the community that, hey, look, if you're going to try to play the game and get it up into county court and have this whole new look and make the county attorney think that he doesn't want to have to mess with a little old traffic case, that's not me. I love trying cases, and I don't care if it's seemingly insignificant. I believe that every case is significant. So I'm happy to do that.
I believe we have time for one more question in the window. And this one, again, then we'll start with you, Stephen. What is your current primary legal specialization, and how does that qualify you for the post of county attorney?
That's a good question. I would estimate that I do probably about 50% of my practice is criminal law. And that ranges with an active practice in felony misdemeanor court, and then in juvenile matters, I have an active juvenile docket where I'm representing juveniles. And so the other half of my practice is, as I mentioned, I represent Allstate Insurance Company, Public Insurance Group, and I do what's called subrogation to them, and I can explain that later. And then I also have an active practice in just business litigation, personal injury litigation, construction litigation, all those kind of things. So I believe that with my background as a prosecutor, and then that I still, through today, practice criminal law, am up to speed on all the issues in criminal law, all the issues in DWI law, all those kind of things, that it's right in my wheelhouse as far as what I'm able to do.
I'm general practice. I don't even know if I could break down exactly what percentage of I do. I do construction litigation, I do commercial litigation, I do easements, partitions, guardianships, DTPA, contract, breach of contract. In a town like this, you do so much. I've represented Boot Ranch, I've represented the city of Fredericksburg. How much does it impact, does that have on the city attorneys? Well, I think it brings a broad scope of the various areas of law. I think the main thing that the county attorney needs is the skill set in the courtroom. The skill set to recognize what the issues are, what the facts are, what the evidence is, and how to present it to a jury or a judge to get your position across. I think those are the primary things that is necessary. And also, there's so much in the county attorney's position and working through all this, is you got to be able to work with people. It's not just about the trying the cases. You have to be able to work with the county commissioners. You got to be able to work with the county judge and the sheriff and the city and work as a team. So I'd say I'm kind of a jack of all trades, but the one common thing is the skill set. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time this evening, and good luck.
Thank you.
We can have our candidates for county commissioner please come forward. We'll take a quick break while we reset.
Show's gonna start in a few minutes, folks. Hang in there.
Well, thank each of you for being with us tonight, our candidates for county commissioner. I'll introduce again each of you and call for your opening statements. The timer is at the front of the room. If you want to use the microphone, it is available on the table to you, and that may be helpful for those seated in the back of the room. First, I'd like to introduce to you Dana OBrien. He was born in 1952 and raised in a conservative rural town, not unlike Fredericksburg. It was in central Indiana. His dad, an Air Force veteran of World War II, was an auto mechanic, and his mother was a factory worker for General Motors. After graduating from high school in 1970, he joined the National Guard, and in 75, returned to active Army service. He was assigned to various posts both statewide and overseas. As a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne, he served in both Desert Shield and Desert Storm. After retiring in 1995, he completed his Bachelor of Science degree, graduating summa cum laude from Methodist University in Fayetteville, North Carolina. He's taught middle school science, both North Carolina and in Texas, while completing his Master of Arts degree in middle school education. In 1997, he met Leola Mills, and he moved to Fredericksburg. He is a member of St. Mary's Parish and active in St. Joseph Society, ACTS, and is a member of the American Legion. He is a graduate of Gillespie County Leadership Class of 2010. Good evening, Dan.
Thank you. Can you all hear me in the back? Yep. First, I'd like to thank the Chamber for inviting us to this forum and all the voters for attending. The questions in the minds of most voters is, what will this guy do for me? How is he different from the others? As the Commissioner of Precinct 3, I have three main goals. Keep your property taxes low as possible and increase your property values. Support and improve the economy of Gillespie County. And finally, preserve the German and agricultural heritage. How are you going to do that, you say? I believe we can keep taxes low through frugal spending and a tight adherence to a balanced budget. That means no hiring of consultants to tell us what we need, what we can figure out for ourselves. If the Texas Jail Commission says our jail is too small, we incarcerate twice as many as our jail will hold on average, and we spend $500,000 carting inmates all over, and I think we need a bigger jail. Keeping property values high is done by keeping the appearance and the infrastructure of this county pristine. This will make more people want to live here, and by watchful control of development, supply and demand will cause value to rise. Improvements to our bridges and roads should be thought out with regards to cost, effectiveness, and safety. All projects should be completed so as not to cost lives and/or legal action against this county. Supporting our economy means keeping our tourism and hunting venues ever improving their products. The #1 killer of tourism is stagnation, i.e. the same old thing. At the same time, we should be open to new industries, but only where they fit our culture and our surroundings. I would never advocate industries such as wind energy farms or companies that would damage our surroundings. And I will be on the hunt for businesses that can provide occupation sorely needed to allow our children to live and raise their families here. To preserve our German heritage, I'd advocate bilingual signs. That's English and Deutsch. Wherever feasible, building codes that preserve the style of the early settlers and maintain the German ethic of hard work. To keep our agriculture up, I'd look for ways to improve ranch and farmland and support the peach and wine industries that are so essential to our county. And lastly, as a new commissioner, I'd work with my fellow commissioners to better Gillespie County. I won't always be that third vote, though. I'll vote yes when it benefits you, but I won't be afraid to vote no when it doesn't. Vielen Dank, and ich möchte Ihre Stimme. Thank you, and I ask for your vote.
Next, I'd like to introduce Calvin Ronsleben. He and his wife Debbie have been married for 45 years. They have one daughter, Christy, a Fredericksburg High School speech and English teacher and coach, and her husband, Sean Dance, who is a mortician with Shedder's Funeral Home, and they have a grandson also named Ken, who is a student at St. Mary's School. He's honored to currently be serving as Commissioner of Precinct 3 and would appreciate the continued support. He is the county liaison on the Economic Development Committee, Transportation Committee, and Gillespie County Airport Advisory Board. He is a member on the Agricultural Livestock Committee and serves as the Gillespie County Hazard Mitigation Coordinator. He is a member of Holy Ghost Lutheran Church. Good evening, Calvin.
Thank you for inviting me this evening, Penny. I appreciate it very much. When I became commissioner 3 terms ago, I was appointed county liaison on the Higher Education Steering Committee. This committee had a vision for a higher education facility in Gillespie County. When Texas Tech came on board, the county offered the old post office for them to do business in. After that, they moved to the new whole clinic building and resided there until now. Here we are in this great facility that was built from the efforts that were put forward by the county and the people working together as a community. I'm sure a subject that is fresh on everybody's mind yet is the transmission line event. It was a long, hard battle. We had great support again from the county and from the citizens, and along with the county, we kept the hill country free of being scarred from this here. An ongoing challenge for me is to keep the tax rate low. Right now, we're the 9th lowest in the state of Texas. And I still want to maintain our paved county road system, which is about 150 miles per precinct. You don't have to travel very far here, and you run into caliche roads whenever you leave the state highways. The only way to keep tax rates low is by adding new structures to the tax roll and keep receiving and increasing the amount of sales tax that's coming into the county, and this is happening due to tourism coming to Fredericksburg and Gillespie County. With ongoing drought, year after year, everybody is concerned about our water supply. We have established an underground water district, and we have adopted new subdivision regulations to assure that everybody that builds a home here will have water to drink. I have attended many meetings with leaders of TxDOT, our congressman, with Doug Miller. We have a great working relationship, and we respect each other very highly. It is long overdue, but by working with TxDOT, we right now have 6 bridges that have been committed to be replaced by the TxDOT in precinct 1 and 3, and this will be done at 80% cost to TxDOT and only 20% to the county citizens, which is a good deal for us. I'm proud to be a part of our united efforts from the county, city, public citizens, and the outside officials to get things accomplished. So in the future, Gillespie County will continue to be a great place to live. I assure you, when someone calls and reports a problem or asks for assistance, if I'm unable to answer the question, I'll find the time and get the answer for you. Thank you all very, very much for your time and your support.
Thank you, Calvin. Our next candidate, Randy Ward, is not in attendance this evening, so I will next introduce to you Curtis Cameron. He is a lifelong resident of Gillespie County. He graduated from Fredericksburg High School and then pursued his bachelor's degree at Southwest Texas State University. He served in the Air Force Reserves. He is married to Taffy Redmond for 45 years and has 2 daughters and 6 grandchildren. He has been a rancher and businessman for over 50 years. He served on the board of directors of Fredericksburg National Bank and Texas American Bank for 27 years and chairman of that board for 7 years. He served 12 years on the Zion Lutheran Church Council with 2 terms as president, and he's also served 2 terms as president of the Gillespie County Fair Association. Good evening, Curtis.
Thanks, Renee. You've heard what I did for the last 50 years. In the last 7 years, I was county commissioner. All the rest of the time in my life, I worked by myself. In the last 7 years, the main thing that you have to do is work with other people. If you can't work with other people and get along with them, you're not going to accomplish anything. You can say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But unless you can work with other people, you're not going to accomplish anything. Gillespie County, like Calvin said, we had one of the lowest county tax rates in the state of Texas. And in order to have a low tax rate, it takes the cooperation of everybody in the county. The only thing that the commissioner can do on his own, he can make out his own county budget, but then it gets scrutinized just like anybody else's does, and it has to be passed by the entire county court. We have probably one of the best county road systems in the state of Texas. And it all is because we work together. We try to work with the sheriff, the treasurer, and all of them, and make sure that everybody works together and does what they're supposed to do. You can't tell another elected official in the county how to run their office. They're elected by you all, and you're their boss. A lot of people think the county judge is the head honcho in the county, and sometimes we wish he was, but he doesn't have any more authority over another elected official than we do. So it has to be a cooperative effort, and that's why did my time expire?
That's it.
I thought you were
I'm not holding that up.
It has to be a cooperative effort, and I appreciate the time here this evening, and I ask for your support and vote.
Curtis, thank you, and I would like to now introduce to you Linda Meyer McCann. She is the youngest daughter of the late Reuben and Dolores Meyer. Linda grew up on a farm and ranch in the Morris Ranch community. She graduated from Fredericksburg High School with honors in 1970, attended Texas Lutheran University in Seguin for 2 semesters, and finished her Bachelor of Science degree in Home Economics Education at Southwest Texas State University. She taught 26 years before retiring and continues to ranch, manage package hunts, work part-time at the Gillespie Livestock Auction, and serves on the Bethany Lutheran Foundation Board. Linda, good evening.
Thank you, Penny, and thank you for having this forum for us this evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And fellow candidates. Back in September, when I was considering whether or not to accept the challenge to become a county commissioner, I was looking for a job description, and I found it online. I'm going to move because that is not in the face. There's sparkles now. I went online to the Texas Association of Counties, and it begins, that description begins with, the job of county commissioners calls for hand-on service delivery as well as policy making and budget decisions. And it goes on to list 15 specific responsibilities, such as tax rate, county budget, elections, employment policies, subdivisions, wastewater, ambulances, rural fire protection, county roads, and the authority to authorize contracts for the county. Well, in the 18 years I've been back home, one of the things I do is read the county commissioner report in the newspaper because that's how I keep up with what's going on. So what was on that list didn't really surprise me, but in the 6 months that I've been attending commissioner court meetings, the depth and scope of some of them took on some very new meanings. As I began meeting people as a candidate, I was told that the amount of money in county budget makes county government big business, not just fixing potholes. I found people genuinely concerned about county issues like water, taxes, water, roads. Did I say water? People are concerned, and they're looking to leadership for direction and solutions. So as a commissioner, I have 4 things I would like to make sure happen. Number 1 is a safe and secure environment for both our residents and our visitors. Remembering that anything not maintained is by default in a state of repair, and vigilance is needed. That we continue to nurture our lifestyle that has so many visitors coming back again and again to experience our German heritage and our Texan hospitality. The Chamber, the Visitors Bureau, and the Economic Development Group are doing a wonderful job of supporting us. That we have an open system of communication that includes listening to everyone, researching their questions and concerns, and providing answers in a timely manner. Republican John Corona, the chairperson of the Senate Committee on Business and Commerce, uses the term crowdsourcing to describe communication using web-based social medias to communicate with constituents so that information can trickle up, be immediate, involve more people, make government less costly, more transparent, work more effectively at all levels. So blogs and Twitters and Yelps and YouTubes can do more than just entertain. It is a way to meet the constituents on their technology level. And last but not least, every constituent deserves to be shown respect at all times and in all places. Thank you, and I will appreciate your vote.
Thank you for each of your opening comments. If you do have a question that you've written, if you could kind of hold up so our card takers know to come find you. Our opening question for the evening is, we'll start with you, Dana, and work our way down the table, and then we'll alternate as we go. How will the decline in state funding for transportation improvements affect Gillespie County, and what should the county do to prepare for that eventuality?
The largest issue facing this county is budget, money, as always, as in every place. And with the cut in TxDOT funds, it will mean that we will have to look for other means of taking care of our roads. One of the things I would like to explore, whether it will work or not, is look at contracting out the resurfacing of our roads on a 12-year schedule, 10-year schedule, whatever it would work. And would that be cheaper to contract it out than to continually buy material, pay for fuel, maintenance on our equipment, and could we, in that case, then we wouldn't have to bring our crews together in the summer to do the paving. We could keep them out doing the minor repairs along the side to keep the roads in better shape.
Well, we're getting very little funding from TxDOT right now, so I don't see that the county roads system would be affected at all by TxDOT's funding. We might see it on our state roads, but we're fortunate that we've got some we've gotten a lot of commitment out of TxDOT here in the last year or two, so there's some projects that are due to be started this year and next year, which will definitely help our community. But as far as us, there's no way in the world that we could even come close to keep all of our paved road system, because like I mentioned a while ago, we've got close to 600 miles of road, county roads in Gillespie County, and they're all paved. So if you would start wanting to hire out the paving, you know, our budget would be zilch right away. You know, we're having a hard enough time with our own budgets to keep up and maintain the roads on a 8 or 10 year cycle like we are, but that's still the cheapest way to go, and our guys are doing a heck of a job of keeping them maintained.
Curtis?
Like Calvin said, we get very little from TxDOT as it is. I think we get $6,200 for each precinct, which doesn't go very far. We also do get about 6 loads of base of precinct, black base that we use, and so what they give us is not very much. So the funding that we get from TxDOT probably wouldn't really affect our road system that much. What affects our road system is the price of oil, and all of you know what that's done in the last 4 or 5 years. It keeps going up. And everything we do on the road is related to oil. Put oil down to seal coat. The trucks all use oil. I mean, everything is related to oil. And it is a problem to keep roads up the way they have been kept up without probably going up on taxes in the future. I don't see how we can do it without. But we work every day to keep our costs low. We're trying, in the morning, I think we're going to try a new product, an experimental product that we're going to try in Donnie's precinct to see whether it'll keep the rock on the road a little bit. So we are trying. It's just a costly operation.
This the inexperienced end of the table here. I've just listened to what they said, and from my 6 months of listening, Commissioner's Court, yes, TxDOT is not where the county roads are. Yes, there's an agreement with some bridges. I think one thing that and it probably is in place, is the rotation of how old is this road, and did we do our very best at that point to make it be an 8 or 10 year road? And what's the revolving cycle of roads? What's the projection, in the next 8 years or 5 years, which ones need to happen, and what kind of things need to happen? And as he just said, what are the new products out there, and are they more effective? Are they cost effective? And keep looking for things. Be careful to not stagnate and keep doing the same thing over and over when there are new things out there that could possibly work better and be less expensive, perhaps in labor or in machinery to do, keeping down those oil costs. It's a matter of vigilance and being aware of what's going on and having that plan for the future of each of those roads.
Thank you very much. On our next question, we'll start with you, Calvin, travel down the table, and end with you, Dana. What is your position on the need for a new jail for Gillespie County?
Penny, it's a hard question for me to really come right out and answer directly. I think it's we don't have room in our jail to house, you know, we have a 15-bed jail and we've got 40-something prisoners. So, do we need a new jail? Yes, we probably do. If the jail commission says that our old jail is not, all of a sudden they could shut that thing down and we'd be without a jail. You know, because in the state of Texas, we have to abide by the jail commission's ruling. You know, a lot of the states don't have this here, so they've got a lot more leverage of what they can do with their prisoners or how they hold them or whatever. We don't have that luxury. So, you know, and we have a sheriff that's been elected by the people. And he runs his department, and we, you know, I think we need to honor his requests and make sure that he has the tools to do his job the best that he can. He sees it. He sees fit that we need one, and we need to try everything. So we're trying to get all the information to the taxpayers. That's why a consultant was hired. It's not for us to know whether we needed a jail or not. It's to get information out and that everybody can make an educated decision on whether it's more feasible to build a new jail or go other routes. But yes, I think we definitely need it.
Curtis.
According to Judge Strayer, since I'm an incumbent, I'm supposed to just give you facts and not tell you whether I think we need a new jail or not. Since we're going out on